And this clear tube goes right on. Why would we do this? Well, because if we're getting our soil ready to do our bean tower day, which I'm really excited about. And while you're in your garden and you're moving around heavy soil or compost or earthworm castings, buckets of nutrients, or just simply moving around a bunch of green material that you just trimmed off your tomato or pepper plants, check out one of these Gorilla Carts. If you want to grab one, check out the link down below for our affiliate link. I highly recommend one of these Gorilla Carts for every single backyard farm. So now that I've used my handy dandy Gorilla Cart to help me bring over my soil, I want to show you the ingredients and soils that we're working with. So the first soil that we're gonna go over today is the Royal Gold Kings Mix. This is an inert soil. It doesn't have much nutrients in it, but it has a completely different characteristic than the second type of soil that we're gonna blend it with. So the Mendo Mix is the exact opposite. This is super rich. It's a fully built soil, bone meal, earthworm castings, humus soil, and a whole bunch of other additives that make this very nutrient rich. And when you hear the term a fully built soil, or a fully loaded soil, this is something like we're talking about, is a Mendocino mix. If you hear the term inert soil, it's more something like this King's Mix, where there's barely any nutrient value in it. And a lot of the times the growers that are using this type of blend either blend it in during the soil mixing phase, but more often than not are actually fertilizing the nutrients through the nutrient program in their irrigation system. You don't want to take a really rich soil and add it to another really rich soil. That's just creating too much nutrients and potentially too much water holding capacity with too little amount of oxygen in the root system. If you guys need any of these products that we're gonna go over to today, check the description down below. We're gonna make your life really easy, and we're gonna also allow these products to come to you in a subscription manner. So let's get on to actually blending these soils up now that we've gone over the King's Mix, being an inert soil, and the Royal Gold Mendocino Mix, the fully built soil. So the first thing that we're gonna add is actually our King's Mix. You always wanna add the most lightweight and fluffiest soil to the bottom, so that way you can mix it up into the rich soil on top, and then the heavier soil will eventually fall down to the bottom as you're blending, and now you've gotten a thorough bottom to top, settling down, evenly homogenized soil mixture. Let's get rocking and rolling. So now that we've gone ahead and we've taken one bag of King's Mix and one bag of Mendo Mix, the next step is adding nutrients. I love the Key to Life nutrient lineup. This is the perfect lineup exactly for a backyard farming system because they've broken down their nutrients into a bunch of different individual elements which allow you to tweak and tailor your soil mixes, your fertigation cycles, your top dressings, and your soil amending to the exact plant that you're gonna be using. So speaking of the exact plant that we're blending and prepping for today is bush beans. So one of the most important things to add, especially to a nitrogen-loving bush bean that does not ever get a woody stalk or have a trunk, is beneficial microbes. Microbes blend from Key to Life Supply is a perfect product to be able to add to something like bush beans and, to be honest, the rest of your garden in general. This has nitrogen, phosphate, potassium fixing microbes that allow all NPK to become available really quickly, but it also has silicone dioxide, which allows plants to be able to withstand a lot more elements because it has a thicker skin on the outside of its leaves. The next thing that we're gonna go ahead and add is a little bit of kelp. Any plant that has a fruit site or a flowering site benefits from kelp. And now we're gonna go on to one of our last products that we're gonna be tossing into our soil today, and that is Boost. Boost is from Key to Life Supply, and this is a humic acid. And it's a humic acid shale that has about 72 to 76 different micronutrients in it. It's a compost accelerator, and overall beneficial bacteria absolutely love it. So So now that we've got our soil and our nutrients completely homogenized, it's now time for the fun part. Let's fill up some of these tiers of our GreenStalk Vertical Grow Tower. So the first thing that you're gonna notice in this is this particular thing. It looks different than all the other grow tiers. This is your reservoir. We're gonna give it one last clean out before we use it so we don't clog any of the holes. The next thing that we're gonna see is our actual grow tiers. So these grow tiers are pretty sweet. It's like one giant pot, and it allows this tier to have the benefits of about 8 gallons of soil in a raised bed fashion, but in a vertical grow tower, which is perfect for something like beans. So let's go ahead and fill this bad boy up. So the first thing that we're gonna wanna do before we assemble the rest of the tower is we're gonna wanna go ahead and water these individual tiers in. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab our base. This is the base to the tower. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna set it up in the desired area. But before we do that, they've supplied us with this clear tube, and this clear tube goes right on to the drain part of this vertical grow tower. Now, why would we do this? Why don't we just let it pour out on the ground right below the foundation of the tower in general? Well, because if all the water just falls out right here, it's gonna then allow the base of this whole grow tower to be sitting in a really moist area. It might tip, it might settle, and then that might cause the tower to actually fall over. So I'm gonna go put this in the surprise location that we'll show you at the end in the backyard farm. I'll be back. Now that we've got our bottom layer watered in, ready to rock, and we made sure that that drain tube is not clogged with any type of perlite or soil, we're gonna put our first divider on, which is our reservoir. We're gonna make sure to have these little holes that are in this reservoir point towards the middle of each planting site. And we got that one ready to rock. Let's start bringing over those towers. Now we've got our reservoir on, we've got the tiered reservoir seated down inside, and the clips have snapped to the tier below it. Our reservoir is nice and clean, it's nice and level, we're ready to rock and roll. What do you think the next stage of planting the bean tower is? Is it the actual planting part? Gardening in general is all about everything in life. Life in general is 80% preparation, 20% the actual activity that you're doing. Let's get to the fun part. Let's go grab our beans and our labels and get these things into the tower. We really appreciate the love and support throughout the journey. I'm Tate with Backyard Farming Supply. Thanks for tuning in to this lesson and module around the GreenStalk Tower in a vertical growing system, as well as thanks for supporting the Backyard Farming Academy. Check out all of the merch that you can get. Please like and subscribe on social media. Help us to spread the word. We're here to feed the people and regenerate the planet.
Please like and subscribe. Thanks for the daily family.